Terry, first, your reaction. Obviously, there had been a lot of buildup and anticipation in this case and ultimately the judge's ruling. Were you surprised, however, with the decision the judge ultimately reached?
Considering all the elements that the prosecution had put forward initially, the result doesn't come as a surprise. The question was really whether they were going to take into account political factors and the consequences of putting a person who is, in fact, the runaway favorite for the next presidential election in a position to withdraw from the race because she cannot run, with all the consequences that we are seeing today. They decided that they would judge the case on the merit. The decision is very severe. As you said, it has an immediate impact, but to me, it's not a surprise.
And does it surprise you, though, that the party had no real contingency plans, given that we've known now for a few months what the prosecution was asking for in terms of a leader who would replace Marine Le Pen if, in fact, she could not be the face of the party and run in the election? As you know, there's a lot of questions as to whether Jordan Bardella has what it takes to lead the party, whether he is experienced enough at his young age.
Yes, it is a surprise to some extent, but you have to realize that had she been in a position to work on a plan B and demonstrating that she was working on a plan B, in a sense, it would have been an admission of defeat before today's decision. So the course she chose to follow was to, be determined into saying that she was hoping she was going to be innocent, that she couldn't imagine for a second that she was guilty of anything, and that therefore the decision today would come her way. You can argue it's maybe some sort of denial in a way, but from a political standpoint, it was, from her perspective, the best possible strategy.
And Nathalie, no surprise that Marine Le Pen, there we see her walking out before the judge even ruled in the case. No surprise as to what her reaction has been, and that is calling this a witch hunt. And I say that because that is almost the exact same language that she used, describing a similar case back in 2017, also as a politically motivated attack in an interview with Christiane Amanpour. Let's play sound from that interview.
You are being asked, the party, the Front National, to repay nearly 300,000 euros to, I believe, the EU because of what they're saying is an investigation into fraud, into conspiracy to commit fraud because of two assistants who've been paid that they're investigating. They're saying that it's not quite what it seems. Are you able to repay nearly 300,000 euros?
Mais en aucun cas, madame.
No, not at all. This is a political attack. It's inadmissible. We have been persecuted by the EU Parliament. They are our adversaries.
Nathalie, what do you make of that defense?
Well, I mean, I think, this is really part of the very standard playbook that the far right has used, which has really seen as the main political opponent, even more than other political parties, state institutions, and in particular, the judiciary and an independent judiciary. And of course, the way of undermining the independence of the judiciary is precisely that of attacking the judiciary, accusing it of being politicized, right? So in a sense, it is no surprise that not only that was her response back then, but that this will be the response from now on. Now, of course, as this trial will move into its appeal phase, the question really will be whether the judiciary will continue to abide by the merit, which is what was decided in this first judgment, or whether indeed those political considerations will be taken into account. In a sense, it is no surprise that the assumption was that they would be taken into account because, of course, who was making those assumptions are precisely forces that don't really, as I say, look at the judiciary as something that really stands aside from politics, but is really looked at as a political instrument.